अब मैं आपको 3 बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग स्टेटमेंट्स के साथ छोड़ना चाहता हूं, ठीक है? वन ऑफ द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजंस, राइट? Once you decide how important a decision is, you should adjust how long you are willing to spend on it, right? I have a proposition for you, right? Which is that good decision makers are generally the one who make their decisions quickly. I'll repeat, good product managers are generally the ones who make decisions quickly. To get to that conclusion, I will unbundle 3 principles in front of you. ठीक है? The first is, the less important a decision, the less information you should try to seek to make it. Very counterintuitive, I know, but ठीक है. The less important a decision, उतनी ही कम information चाहिए मुझे. That's all. Second, gathering information follows a Pareto principle. Means that if you want information about a particular decision, that whether that decision should be taken or not, 80% of that information आपको बहुत easily मिल जाएगी. Through research, through user research, through A, B, whatever it is, right? But the final 20% will take you exponential amount of time. Like अगर आपको 80% information for making that decision takes you 2 days, the remaining 20% will take you 10 days, right? And the last is, most decisions are not important. बताओ सही बात लगी कि नहीं लगी? बताओ. So 3 principles I'm leaving you with. The first, the less important the decision, the less information you should try to seek it to make it. Second, gathering information follows the Pareto principle, in which 80% of the information you will get very quickly. Remaining 20% will make you like probably 5 times the information. And the last is, most decisions are not important, right? एक बात मैं सबको बताना चाहता हूं, most of these learnings are not mine. If you think that all of this content is completely mine, no, it's not. I was very fortunate to learn from very good product leaders. तो मैं बहुत फॉर्चुनेट था दैट वे. तो इसीलिए मैंने बहुत सारे प्रोडक्ट लीडर्स की लर्निंग को समराइज करके तुम्हारे सामने रखने की कोशिश की. ठीक है? मेक सेंस? आगे. ठीक है. So the first thing that we want to effectively figure out is, the less important a decision, the less information you should try to seek it, right? Products are generally complex, right? So figuring out all the practical ramifications of a decision, like if you change the color from green to red, right? If you change the color from green to red, right? There might be a scenario कि कुछ फट ही जाए सच में, right? But you can never be confident about it. You can never be confident about it, right? Since we cannot perfectly predict outcomes, we are not God that we can perfectly predict outcomes, that all our bets that we make are good only, right? So essentially, whenever we take a decision in life, it's a psychological thing, right? I'm telling you from a point of psychology. You always build a confidence threshold, right? For example, you want to buy a car, right? You go to the showroom, you essentially ask the person, okay sir, mileage क्या है? वो बोलता है सर 20 किलोमीटर पर आवर. फिर सेकंड बोलते हो, ओके सर क्या कहते हैं ये बूट स्पेस कितनी है? दैट्स सेकंड. ठीक है. हाउ मेनी पीपल कैन सिट? थर्ड. नंबर 4, व्हाट आर द इंटीरियर्स लाइक? विद ईच इंफॉर्मेशन दैट यू गेट, योर कॉन्फिडेंस ऑफ बाइंग द राइट कार इंक्रीजेस, राइट? एंड देयर इज अ सर्टेन पॉइंट in between when you are like 70% confident कि हाँ यार यही गाड़ी लेनी है, right? I am just telling you, if you are 70% confident, make the decision then and there. I'm saying don't wait for 100%. It's never going to happen, right? इतना ही मैं बोलने की कोशिश कर रहा हूं. So you should decide based on the importance of the decision, what is the confidence threshold where I have to cut कि नहीं यार इससे ज्यादा मेरे को जरूरत नहीं है. लाइक फॉर एग्जाम्पल, मैं एक छोटा, बहुत लोग मुझसे सवाल पूछते हैं कि भैया मैंने एक गलत कंपनी ज्वाइन कर ली, नाउ माय कल्चर इज स्क्रूड अप एटसेट्रा, व्हाट शुड आई डू? शुड आई लीव बिफोर 1 ईयर? शुड आई नॉट लीव बिफोर 1 ईयर? यार अगर तुम 1 साल पहले छोड़ भी दोगे, क्या होगा तुम्हारे साथ? देयर विल बी प्रोबेबली 10 कंपनीज व्हिच विल टेल यू लेफ्ट बिफोर एन ईयर, राइट? बट स्टेइंग देयर फॉर 6 more months is going to culturally screw you up in your head. And the more you are around people which essentially focus a lot more on opinions, your thinking will start becoming like that, right? So the first thing that I want to put across is, whenever you decide how critical a decision is, like for example, you earn 1 crore rupees a year, for example, right? Buying a 5 lakh rupee car might not be a critical decision for you. So for that, you should not invest like 3 months to make that choice. But whereas if you're earning probably 10 lakh rupees a year and buying a 5 lakh rupee car, for you it's a critical decision. You should ideally think about 5 different things, right? So ideally the only thing that I'm just trying to put across to you is the less important a decision, you should define the confidence threshold कि यार मुझे इतनी ही information चाहिए, इसके ऊपर मुझे पता है कि और information नहीं चाहिए. Make sense? So I just want to talk about how much information should you be gathering before you make a decision, right? Obviously 100% is not possible, right? Even if it's exactly, you define a confidence threshold, right? The confidence threshold is based on the importance of the decision, right? To summarize, your confidence level on predicting a decision's outcome is a function of how much information you have to take the decision. Second, the more important a decision, the higher confidence you require, and thus the more information you need, right? तो पहले एक डिसीजन को स्टैंडर्डाइज करो, बोलो कितना इंपॉर्टेंट है, उसके बेसिस पे बोलो कि अब मुझे इतनी ही इंफॉर्मेशन, मुझे पता है ये इतने इंपैक्टफुल नहीं है, इवन विद 50-60% ऑफ माय इंफॉर्मेशन आई एम फाइन विद इट, आई विल गो अहेड बिकॉज़ इट्स रिवर्सिबल फॉर मी. मेक सेंस? चलो आगे. अब ये ग्राफ देखो, ध्यान से देखो, ठीक है? On the y-axis, you see amount of information one should seek, right? And on the x-axis is the importance of the decision, right? How do you see? देखो, जैसे ही decision ज़्यादा important होने लगा, right? The amount of information that you essentially seek, right? That is effectively growing to 100%, but it's building this kind of curvature, right? Right? It is becoming this kind of curve. So majority of your decisions can actually be done with information like 70% or 80%, unless it becomes like super important, right? So that is what I wanted to put across. The more important a decision, 80, and the reason the graph is like this, it's like a curved structure, because 80% of information is very easily available, right? Even if the decision is like medium important, you will be able to find like 80% of the information for that, right? तो वो easily मिलती है. So that's why you essentially see that as the decision becomes more and more important, you are essentially reaching towards 100%, but you are reaching from 80% to 100%. That's why you see the curve is like this, because 80% is available even if the decision was medium important or it was low important, right? Low importance. But if it's a very high importance, then you have to grow from 80 to 95%, which is essentially just a growth of like 15%. But on the contrary, the decision can actually be 10 times more important. तो ये बात क्लियर, तो यू अंडरस्टूड लाइक व्हाई दिस कर्व इज लाइक दिस, राइट? यहां तक बात सबको क्लियर है, right? This reveals something counterintuitive. Your goal should not be always to make the right decision. It should be to invest the right amount of time in making a decision relative to its importance. Your goal is not always to make a right decision. I repeat, हर बार सही होना is not what a product manager should do. The most important thing is that you should ideally see how important the decision is and how much time I should spend on it. If the decision is of very low importance, yaar, even if you're right, who would care, right? So the ramification of subscribing to it are twofold. The first, the downside is that you will end up making more wrong decisions, but when you do, they are likely not important. यही होगा ना, आइडियली यही होगा ना. अगर मैं तुम्हें बोल रहा हूं कि कोई डिसीजन है वो इंपॉर्टेंट नहीं है और तुमने 30% इंफॉर्मेशन के साथ कर लिया, यही होगा ना, गलत हो जाएगा ना, राइट? दैट्स द ओनली थिंग दैट माइट हैपन. यू मेड आउट ऑफ 10 decisions, 8 decisions such which you made with 30-40% of information, right? Worst case, what will happen? All will go wrong. That's the worst case. But the decisions which you pointed out as critical, and if you are right, then you essentially create something called output, right? So the more number of decisions you make, they build output, and the more right, the critical ones right you make out of them, that those are called outcomes. I'll repeat, मैं फिर repeat करता हूं. The more number of decisions you make as a product manager brings output for the product manager, but the more number of critical right decisions that you make brings outcomes, and that is far more important. I would rather hire a product manager who does 100 experiments, but out of those 100 experiments, 7 experiments are critical and all 7 go right, even if the 93 go wrong, then hire a product manager who does 92 right decisions, right? Small with very low impact right decisions, whereas the 8 critical decisions he or she screws up. Make sense? यहां तक सब मेरे साथ aligned है? सबको मेरी बात लॉजिकली चमक रही है? मैं किसी को कन्विंस करने की कोशिश नहीं कर रहा हूं, मैं तुमसे लॉजिकली पूछ रहा हूं, बात समझ में आ रही है? In marriage also we don't listen to dude, this is funny man. ठीक है तो ओके यार, अमेजिंग अमेजिंग श्रीकांत यार, यू जस्ट ब्रॉट इन अ लाइव एग्जांपल, वेरी कूल वेरी कूल। ठीक है ठीक है, अब like for example, right, अब let's assume you essentially have to put across adding for example, how many of you have used this flat and flatmates on Facebook, right? Now, flat and flatmates is a place where you can essentially look for flats, right? And in Facebook, these are like large groups, right? So people have built marketplaces like Nestaway and other marketplaces used to exist, right? So flat and flatmates basically is like a Facebook group which they have made across all cities, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Pune, etc. And you can essentially put a post and say that my flat is vacant or I am looking for a roommate. These are my requirements. This is the rent. This is everything, and people get connected. So what Facebook essentially, for example, they realized, right? If can I make a product out of it? For example, tomorrow they essentially say that, right? Now, what is the difference between in gathering 35% of information versus 70%? It's not 2x, right? Most of the time, most relevant information is available very easily, right? The Pareto principle also applies here, that 81% of information you need with little investment, while getting 100% of information takes a lot of effort, right? Say you are a PM at Facebook and you are essentially looking into the same thing. What you would essentially do is you would first look into ki Facebook groups ka kya behavior hai. Are people doing it, how they are doing it, why they are doing it, all of those things you will figure out, right? You will do quantitative research, etc. And you will figure out that people are using it, and you essentially know, I know for a fact, I have found a flat through Flat and Flatmates. So if you go to Facebook, you essentially try to figure it out. Okay, you join a particular group, you see a lot of posts putting every day, and you just go interested, and people DM you and say that, okay, my flat is vacant or it got filled up, right? So you essentially know that it is working as a feature, right? Now there can be a different question: why are people not using a marketplace like Zillow, Magic Bricks, and other etc. A, B, C, D, whatever, Nestaway or whichever, Co-Live, right? Whichever they, but you for a fact know that Facebook तो use हो रहा है, ये तो clear है. उनको यूज कर रहे हैं कि नहीं कर रहे हैं सेकेंडरी क्वेश्चन है. प्राइमरी थिंग है कि फेसबुक तो यूज हो रहा है, राइट? तो डू यू रियली नीड इनफ इंफॉर्मेशन टू डू क्वांटिटेटिव रिसर्च, क्वालिटेटिव रिसर्च फॉर बिल्डिंग दिस फीचर? प्रोबेबली नॉट, राइट? बिकॉज 80% ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन तो तुम्हारे पास ही है. तुम्हें पता है कि जनता यूज कर रही है, जनता को वैल्यू मिल रही है, मुझे बस इसको मोनेटाइज करना है, स्ट्रक्चर बनाना है, राइट? सो all I'm trying to put across is, although knowing why you are using Facebook for buying or selling, it's not really needed. It's मतलब इतना तुम्हें basically डिजाइन करने के लिए बहुत ज्यादा ये नहीं चाहिए. तुम्हें ये सब पता करना होगा कि हाँ, why they are using it, how they are using it, why it adds value, but from an importance. And if I ask you today, should we build a monetization structure on the community structure of Flat and Flatmates in Facebook? How you will do it, how it will scale, all secondary questions. Should you do it? Enough proof that you should, and you should give him. And based on the size of the communities, like Flat and Flatmates का एक community का size में, मतलब एक community में there are like million people, and they are like, and engagement is through the roof, right? कभी जाके देखना Flat and Flatmates, engagement is through the roof. लोग अपना फर्नीचर बेचते हैं, पता नहीं क्या क्या बेचते हैं, right? तो लोग तो यूज कर रहे हैं, right? So I can build this feature. So I know for a fact कि in order to make this decision to make it or not make it, I need probably 70% of information, right? To make the MVP or whatever, right? Because I know that behavior exists. I know for a fact. You would ideally, what you will ideally do is, like, you will just take 60-70% of information, go to Flat and Flatmates, see what is the number of posts daily, how many comments on the posts are there, right? Then how many people essentially say, you can get all that information from the group itself. तो उसके लिए अब तुम्हें क्वांटिटेटिव रिसर्च क्यों करना है यार? बात समझ में आई? अब देखो, ऊपर वाला कर्व ध्यान से देखना, ठीक है? प्रिंसिपली मैं ये बोल रहा हूं, 80% of your all information that you are essentially getting, you will get in 20% time. As simple as that. Make sense? यहां तक बात क्लियर है? And the last part that I want to kind of leave you with is that most decisions are not important, right? The model shows the decision importance. So basically, on the y-axis, there is the importance of the decision. Sorry, x-axis, there is the importance of the decision. right? You would see that most area under the curve is towards the zero part or towards the intersection of the axis, because most decisions are not important, right? We are making decisions all over a day, like should you roll out to 5% users, should you roll out to 10% users, should you roll out to 15% users, should you most decisions are trivial. So percentage of decisions versus the importance, most decisions that you are essentially taking are 80% not important. ठीक है? तो ये तीनों चीजें मैं आपको बता रहा हूं, ठीक है? Last part to bring it all home together, right? The first thing is, the less important the decision, the less information you should try to seek it. Second is, effort in getting that kind of information gets exponentially harder if you grow from 80% to 100%. Third, most decisions are not important. So if you essentially see, अब ये graph छोड़ दो, but somewhere in between, right? So it is the percentage of decisions which are not important का एक curve है versus the time taken to make an important decision का एक curve है. They intersect at a particular point. On the left hand side, all decisions are not important, though they should be made quickly. On the right hand side, few decisions are important और उनमें time लगाना चाहिए, right? So therefore, good decision makers are quick decision makers. Right? So you put that principle across, see how, rate the importance of the decision, and based on whatever 50-60% of confidence that you have, make a choice and make an experiment, and you essentially go towards it, right? So applying these principles, I know, is incredibly tough. Nobody likes to be wrong, and as a PM, being wrong is very public and can be career damaging, because that's the only thing that you value across, right? If you manage PMs, recognize that जो PMs और decision नहीं लेते और बहुत time लगा देते हैं और फिर वो और उस decision की value नहीं रहती, they are worse than people who make decisions and are 40% or 50% of the time wrong, right? जैसे the sign up button, make it sign up button change, do it immediately. Second, Facebook marketplace थोड़ा टाइम लगाओ, समझो अच्छे से, मीडियम इंपॉर्टेंट डिसीजन है. लोगो वाला, टेक योर टाइम, डोंट मेक इट लाइक सुपर फास्ट. यहां पे मैं आज आपको छोड़ता हूं. This is what I wanted to this. So one of the things that I want to leave you with, all of you guys, is that another definition of a product manager, which is great product managers are intelligent bet makers. They are not a general bet maker. They are an intelligent bet maker. And in your life, if out of the 10 bets that you made, if 7 of those bets are right, then you are a great PM. एक प्रोडक्ट मैनेजर एक बहुत अच्छा बेट मेकर होता है. और अच्छे लोग बेट्स कौन लेते हैं? Who make good bets, right? Who are generally like people who understand time and importance. जिंदगी में कोई भी डिसीजन को, जैसे हम इम्पैक्ट वर्सेस सेटिस्फैक्शन पे जाते हैं ना, I essentially taught you about impact versus satisfaction. The only thing that you have to be considerate about there is, as a product manager, your responsibility is not to be always right. It is important to be right when it matters. Make sense? Please, जिसने मेरा वीडियो लाइक नहीं किया, अभी लाइक कर दो. Akanksha has asked a very good question, which is like, wouldn't making too many wrong decisions make negative impact and rework while we working on how to overcome the fear of being wrong? Actually, it doesn't. That's why I'm said now. See, even if you're wrong on a non-critical decision, it wouldn't matter. But at least you will learn something. That's why I said the first point is to decide how critical the decision is, right? If the criticality of the decision is very less, then even if you're wrong, it doesn't matter. You will have some learning from it, right? So that's why great product companies promote experimentation, right? So that's how it works. Awesome. ठीक है, dude. All of you guys, please like the video. जितने भी लोग हो, जितनों में किया, and simultaneously share it with as many people. Just bring as many people as you can, right? If you can, essentially try to send it across to as many people, put it across. And that is something that we'll do. Once again, thank you very much. Please like the video as much as possible. Give your comments, right? Tell me what essentially you have to do across. Thank you guys. Awesome. Amazing. Take care.